even in one state, you're going to find differences in fire regimes. And so you can't take knowledge from one area and just automatically apply it to another one. You really have to let the science drive what's going on as far as management. So we're going to keep moving up. I can get this to work. Okay, so moving to the warm dry mix conifer. That is a mixed species that has a similar fire regime to ponderosa pine. It's going to be longer return intervals, so fire won't happen as often. You'll have mixture, not only of surface fires, but also have some ground fires. We'll move up one more. Okay, that's going to help me. So now we're in the cool moist mix conifer. So as we're moving up this elevation gradient, we're getting environments that are cooler, more moist. So there's going to be longer lay times between fire. And so here we're going to see fires that are predominantly in the crown and less frequent. And then our last one, oops. Oh, dang, you can help me out. All right, we're going to burn our way here. Okay, so now we're going to the subalpine. So the subalpine, and the fire regime for the subalpine was an infrequent fire regime that was high severity and that was in the crowns. And here in southwest Colorado, it's around every 150 plus years. So when we look at how has your American settlement affected these fire regimes, the main effect would be we had an increase of fuel loading that has allowed the fires to spread up to these higher elevations. But for this zone itself, it burns so infrequently that our fire suppression over the past 140 years hasn't yet had that impact, except from when we have fuel built up at lower elevations that then allows it to carry up to higher elevations, like we saw with the Missionary Ridge Fire. So with that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show a short clip of a documentary that was just shown at the Sedona Film Festival a few weeks ago. And this documentary does a good job. Sorry you guys are getting blinded by the light. I guess I'm lucky I'm facing you, not trying to face the screen. But this documentary, it is fire and water restoring Arizona forests. But basically what you can do here in southwest Colorado, you can replace Arizona and just make southwest Colorado. So I'm just going to show you 10 minutes of this. But this is going to kind of focus on ponderosa pine forests and tells you kind of the history of where we've gotten to today. And then we can talk more about forest health and where we are and what we think of the new fire season might be.
Fire in the West has reached epic proportions. Wildfires have grown bigger, hotter, and more destructive. Last year alone, 10 million acres of public land burned in the United States. It was called the most severe fire season in modern history.
Now that we're losing 500,000 acres at a time, it only takes a few decades for all of the forests to burn under catastrophic conditions.
Out of control fire touches every aspect of the landscape in our lives. When it comes to losses, fire is personal.
Things weren't just burned, they were evaporated. It was really shocking. Like somebody had bombed down our town.
Forests across the West are unhealthy and close to collapse. Arizona is bridging long-standing divides to unite land managers, the timber industry, and environmentalists in order to restore our public lands.
What I'm seeing on the near horizon is a desire to cooperate at a level that I've never seen in my career.
We should all care what happens across the watershed in the forested areas of northern Arizona, because that's the source of our drinking water. And it's not only the source of our drinking water, but it's the source of the economic vitality of the state.
The two most important issues that face our state right now are fire and water.
Catastrophic wildfire takes no prisoners. It can incinerate an entire landscape. Healthy forests clean the air we breathe, purify the water we drink, and are home to wildlife. In Arizona, the yellow-bellied ponderosa pine is the grandfather of the woods. Without mature trees, the entire ecosystem is at risk.
Watersheds of northern Arizona, in particular the headwaters of these watersheds across the Mogollon rivers, are some of the most important features we have in the state, both in terms of the environmental values contained within the watersheds and in terms of the services and environmental values provided to folks downstream.
This particular stand of ponderosa pine is the largest contiguous stand in the world. It provides a number of ecosystem services that we really value. A good, sustainable, clean water supply, as well as clean air.
So what happens in those forests, those forested lands, has a significant impact on the quality, the reliability, and the sustainability of the water supply here in the valley.
The Salt and Verde rivers provide water to millions of people, but wildfire in these crucial watersheds has been growing exponentially. In the 80s and 90s, 300,000 acres were lost to fire. Since the year 2000, nearly 2 million acres, about 1/4 of the entire forested area in and around the Salt and Verde watersheds have burned.
Now we're in the era of what we call megafires. By megafires, we mean fires that are in excess of 100,000 acres that basically burn until they run out of fuel or the wind direction changes.
In recent years, the size and scale of wildfire has changed dramatically. The record for biggest wildfire in Arizona history has been broken again and again. In 1996, the Lone Fire was the largest wildfire on record. It scorched 61,000 acres, but in 2002, Arizona was introduced to a new breed of destruction. As two fires merged into one cataclysmic event, Rodeo Chetasky devoured 470,000 acres, over 700 square miles, an area larger than the cities of Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Tempe combined.
It was really hard to put the size of the Rodeo Chetasky fire into perspective. It was burning erratically, it was burning hot. The rate of growth, the rate of spread was off the charts. It was kind of frightening because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how they were going to stop it.
So large, it created its own weather system. Rodeo Chetasky grew into thundering columns of smoke, flames, and volatile gases. These firestorms would tower up to 30,000 feet before collapsing in violent downdrafts, scattering hot embers into thickets of dry, brittle trees. High winds whipped the fire into a runaway inferno. Firefighters like Darren Whiting called it the monster.
It's very, very intimidating, frightening. I got to the point where I never knew what to expect when the fire was coming our way. And you could see heat waves ahead of the fire. They were boiling back there and rolling. They were pushing smoke ahead of them. And it was just an unknown. It was in the driver's seat.
When Rodeo Chetasky pushed past all fire breaks toward mountain towns like Heber, Pinedale, and Show Low, more than 30,000 residents had to be evacuated. Like many people, Stephanie Hunt returned to find her home burned to the ground.
We pulled into the neighborhood and we saw where our house used to be and our neighbors' houses. And then my breath just caught. I couldn't breathe. There was nothing left but part of the chimney. You think you're prepared, your house burned down, this and that. But then when you actually see it, it's just such an impact. We just cried forever over the loss of our home.
I lived in a place called Timberland Acres, a really nice, heavily wooded area. I had a really nice log home, a nice sized piece of land. I used to have a garden and everything there. It was really a peaceful, wonderful place to me. It's the best place I've ever lived. And the Rodeo Chetasky fire burned through there hot and heavy. One of the things that I did in preparation to my home before the Rodeo Chetasky fire is I had a big wood stove inside my house. And and I was certain that no matter what happened, it would be like a fire station. There was a few items that I put inside that wood stove and sealed the door shut and walked away from it. Well, it had melted. The doors worked. It fell open, and the stuff that I put inside there was gone. And that was shocking to me. I never thought I would see that. It's kind of hard to have to go back to town and tell your family that, hey, our place is gone.
Rodeo Chediskai was a beast so fierce it was considered an anomaly in the world of forest fires. But in less than a decade, Arizona was hit by an even bigger burn. In 2011, the Wallow Fire devoured over 500,000 acres in one blaze.
We find our forest conditions today something that historically wasn't present and ecologically isn't normal or natural.
Megafires are primed by conditions that have been brewing in America's forests for over 100 years. In 1910, born of drought and lightning, the biggest wildfire in American history raced across Idaho, Washington, and Montana, burning 3 million acres and killing at least 78 firefighters. The staggering loss of timber, towns, and lives spurred a federal mandate to put out all fires, natural or man-made, on public lands. Total fire suppression led to a population explosion of small trees. However well-intentioned, excluding fire from the landscape for over a century is one of the primary reasons our forests are so volatile and unstable today.
We've been suppressing those fires anywhere from 80 to 100 years. That's not good for those habitats. It's not good for the soils. It's not good for wildlife.
When settlers arrived in Arizona, the forests were open and park-like, with 20 to 30 large trees an acre. Now those stands are overgrown with 1,000 trees per acre or more. Small trees compete for sunlight and water, and quickly become kindling to fuel a raging fire.
We essentially loaded the landscape up with highly flammable trees. In a way, that's sort of like having a 5-gallon gas can set about every 4 feet through the forest that are just waiting to explode.
So with the amount of fuel, our fires burn much more severely, much hotter, and they're much more destructive.
The other thing about these small trees is that they provided what we call a fuel ladder. So fires that once would have burned through the underspray grasses and wildfires now can climb up this ladder into the canopy of the old growth trees. And of course, the old growth trees are terribly important for the natural ecological function of the ponderosa pine.
Ponderosa pine evolved with frequent low-intensity fires that stay on the ground. A canopy for crown fires that move across the treetops are unnatural in the ponderosa forest. Once a fire is big enough to get into the crown of a tree, it burns so hot it kills all living things down to the soil.
It was kind of eerie to come out here. There was no insects, there was no ants, no anything. And in fact, there was not even any birds flying over these areas. When you walk out here, it's just utter silence.
Soils are the base component for all of these watersheds. Without soils, we don't have everything else that wildlife needs, including the streams.
Soils are the foundation of life in the watershed. Without healthy soil, all wildlife, from elk to eagles to insects, are left without food, water, and shelter.
These habitats are critical to the wildlife populations throughout the state. If we don't have the habitat for them, then we're not going to have the animals.
We have this